welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today I have a hair video for you. I'm going to show you how I did these feed-in braids. They look so nice and these are so simple, and I just thought I'm going to share this with you because as long as you can cornrow, guys, then you have a chance. So just keep on watching, and also please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell because I don't want you to miss any time I post. So let's get to the video. Okay, so I'm going to start on some clean hair and clean scalp. If you guys want to see how I did this, how I prepared my hair for this hairstyle, I just did a protein mask by Cardi B, so make sure you check out that video. And I was ready to start braiding up my hair. So here I was just looking for the correct area that I wanted to put my parting, and I had already found it. I decided to do a side parting, and now I'm just doing some more parting for my first line. So I just want to make sure that the first line will just cut through to make sure that I'll be plaiting my hair as well as my hairline. I also feel like opening this kind of parting is much better if you're a beginner because it's much easier compared to straight back lines. So now I'm just putting my hair out of the way. It doesn't matter if you had already opened the parting, it will still show when you untangle the hair. So I'm also going to use this molding gel. I will list it down below. This gel has been working perfectly for me. It does not flake, and although you see some white stuff at the beginning, it will just dissolve into the hair, so it's really perfect. I'll list it in the description box, and I've been using it in my recent videos as well. It's been working perfect. So for the type of braid that I used, it was a budget pack which has 3 packets of braids in one, and this is so convenient, guys. So here I'm just separating this huge piece which I didn't cut in half and put it on the side because that's from the braids that I'll be adding at the back to make the braids longer, and then the half part that's remaining I'll cut it in half so that the braids that I'll be dealing with at the start of my lines will not be too long, because if they're too long then it will be very difficult to deal with the hair. They'll keep tangling. So now I'm going to section. It's way better to section this hair and put the sections if you're sitting on an armchair. This worked for me very well because I'll just place the sections on the arms of the chair that I'm sitting on. It will be much easier when I'm adding the hair to my braid. Also, now I'm just starting, but note that when I added the edge control, I didn't add it from the start of my line because I want to have that stronger grip at the start of my line, and this edge control will just make my hands feel slippery and I'll lose the grip. So now I'm just starting off, and notice that I'm adding the hair from the back, not from the top. I'm going to try as hard as I can to show you most of the lines that I did so that you catch on the concept in case you didn't catch it on this first line. So I'm just continuously adding the braid, and make sure that you're not too slow. You have to make sure that you're a bit faster. You're using a faster pace, because if you're too slow, the braid will loosen whilst you're still trying to add the other braids to feed in the braids. Also note that I'm not adding the braids every time that I finish a revolution. A revolution is when you pin down the braid in 3 times to form the braid pattern. So I'm not adding after each and every revolution that I do because I'm just trying to maintain a certain thickness. So I'm just judging from what I'm seeing that now I have to add the braid to make it thick, because it will seem thin. It now seems thin, so now I have to add the braid. Also notice that I'm also detangling the braid as I go, because if you don't do that, then you really struggle with the braid just continuously tying up, which is another reason why I told you that I had to cut the braid in half, because it will just tangle and it will be too difficult to deal with. Also, to avoid having unnecessary bumps on the braid. I was also adding some edge control as I go, just to slick down the hair, because 4C hair will have those bushy ends that will just sprout out of the braid and it would not look neat. So when I was getting to the back part, to the end part, that's where I was getting ready to feed in the last braid, which is from that little section that I did not cut into half, because I want to maintain a certain length for these braids. I don't want them to be short. So here's where I'll add this particular braid, and I'll just add a little bit compared to what I was adding before, because I don't want it to change the thickness of the braid. It will just look weird. Here I was also adding some edge control to avoid the ends from poking out. Like I said, they really look bushy and it's not a nice look, so I'm just trying to avoid that by putting some edge control at the ends as well. So edge control is your friends, guys. Edge control from when you're starting to plait the braid, and during, and also when you finish. I know when I'm parting to open the new lines, it seems a bit easy. That's for me, but if you're a beginner, you can use 2 mirrors to make sure that your lines are just neat and they're at least straight. Again, I'm adding the edge control before I start plating, because this will help with the grip and also it will help with the partings. So once you add some edge control, you even notice that there are some mistakes from when you were parting your hair, and you can actually fix it right there and then. And also you notice that when you finish pleating the whole head, just because you're adding the edge control, it will just look so neat and so tied down. So for this second line, it's clearly different from the first one because it's much longer, so you need to section your braids with more braids that you used to section compared to the first line. So here you need more braids and you need more thicker braids as well, and also you need to add the longer braid for feeding in to maintain the length earlier than you did on the first braid. As I'm getting to the ends, guys, don't forget edge control to plug in those ends, those kinky ends, into the braid so that they won't poke out of the braid and it will just look neat. So I'm also tying down this hair so that I won't accidentally add any of this hair on the line that I'm working on. Also, if you're still watching my video, please go ahead and subscribe and turn on your notifications, because it will let you know whenever I post a video. Another way I was using, another method is to start with my hair without adding the braids, which is what I did on this particular line, and this will help with creating that fishtail look. It will just start off looking thin and it will turn into a thicker braid.